Volare, whoa, whoa, volare, whoa, 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 nel blue de pinto de blue. Hey, hello and welcome to the Man Cave here at Wistful Vistas in beautiful suburban San Diego, California. And it is a beautiful day. It reminds me, just a couple of days ago, we took that ride. It's January, and after a kind of a rocky start, gorgeous outside, guys and gals. It is really gorgeous. And why am I stuck in the garage doing this stuff? Because of science. That's why. Yes, I am trying to help you out. And what we're going to do today, big deal. We're going to revisit that tail tidy situation. We have another one that has arrived, came highly recommended by a few people on the channel. One of the delights of this channel is the communications you get back and forth. And we're going to attempt to put it on the machine. As usual, I will share that process with you, and you can tell me what you think about it. But let's get it started. As Albie says, enough of the chit-chat. Let's get going. Some people might ask about this hat. Ashley Johnson over there in the middle of nowhere, UK. Ask why about this hat. I'll give you a minute. Well, this hat was lent to me by Abraham Lincoln. I know, amazing. I knew the guy. I'm that old. All right, let's get to the tail tie. Okay, so I removed the hat because Abe lent it to me, gave it to me actually, but that doesn't mean I can get it dirty. So the first thing we do when we're going to do the tail tidy installation and get into all that mess is put the machine up on the stand, the paddock stand. Even though we're not in the paddock, we're in the man cave. But what we use is the official tool, which all of you should be doing. Now, somebody tell me, are you not nervous when you put your bike up on the stand? I'm going to admit it, I am. I'm more nervous when I take it off the stand, but I am still nervous putting it on the stand. I have this great bike stand. We just put it down like that by a company called Constands, and it's pretty nice. I can move the bike around a little bit, a lot actually. I did have a situation where I tried to buy one that was going to allow me to move the bike around a lot. Didn't work out. You can see that online. So we've got it up on the stand. We're going to take our tool, our official tool, and you'll note that I have it marked as such. And we'll put that back over here. So let's get set up and start getting into putting on that tail tidy. I'm going to have to figure out how to position the camera. All right, let's get to it. So I don't know if you know this, but this garage is actually haunted. The man cave is haunted. I have a guardian thing inside this cabinet that watches for my key. Let's be quiet, not disturbing. There's his hand right there. Got the key. We're going to need this. Okay, the first thing we have to do is remove this sleek rear piece here. Okay, don't necessarily need to do this, but I think it's worthwhile doing. Next step is I'm going to remove the seat here. Next step, to take off this cover piece. Okay, as mentioned, we're going to get these electrical bits out of the way. I'm still thinking about maybe I don't need to take those off. This main block here is on 2 rubber tabs, and it just lifts straight off, and you can put it over to the side. Sure you can. Sure you can. And there are other little things down in here that are almost impossible to show you, but Some have terminated connections, and others do not, just to make it sort of spicy. And we also have a battery maintainer clip that's located back there if you want to hook up your lithium battery to a maintainer. But these bits and pieces separate, and they're not too tough to tell apart because they're different colors. There's only a couple of parts. I think they did a pretty good job of laying out the removal process here, or the attachment process, but it is a little bit tight in there. There's two bolts into nuts inside the seat housing here, and then there's one star nut that's located really far up into the back of the motorcycle here, which is kind of the hassle to get to. But to remove them, they have these little lift tabs on them, and you grab them and just give them a little haul like that, and they do come apart. And this one down here does as well. It does have a little tab that you can push in to remove it. And it's white. This one is black in color, you'll note. And that's all. That's really all that's connecting the electronics from the front of the machine to the back. So, as I say, the challenge here, to make it worthwhile for all my friends watching, is to show you how to reach all those. But it can be done, trust me. It can be done. So now I've got to get in and get these, secure these two nuts while I take these screws out from the, bolts out from the backside. But I'm going to get the star washer in the middle under here first. Now I think I've showed that before, so I'm not going to necessarily show that. Really kind of difficult to show, but it's one, and I'll give you the size of it in a moment. So so stand by. So that guy right in the center back there is really physically a challenge for me to get to. I don't have a bike lift. Wah wah, I know, cry a tear. And it is a Torx 25. It connects to a cast aluminum bit right here, which I hope you can see. So let me begin that again. Do you mind if we rephase? So the two main nut and bolts holding the tail assembly on are on the back side. I was wrong about that. This information, folks, it's a Torx 30. Is it there? Can you see it? Upside down. Torx 30 and a 10 mil nut holding it up on the back side. It's a bit of a challenge. You don't want to lose it. Can you see my hands? Okay, back over here at the workbench. Here are the main ingredients, I'm going to call them, to the EvoTech tail tidy. And we have to do some pre-assembly, disassembly, pre-assembly before we start putting this back on the machine. Okay, we bring over the original tail piece. In the bottom of the tail piece, first of all, there are two nuts holding on the original turn signals, and we have a Phillips head screwdriver that holds a blanking plug over the top of the originally supplied wiring loom. And that we're gonna have to retrieve, obviously. So I'm gonna take that apart. I'm gonna take that out. We'll do that in just a sec because I realized I don't have the screwdriver with me. Stand by. In or out. So remove the one screw, lift this piece out, and look down inside here, and we see our next challenge, which is another bundle o' snakes. So we have to grab all these guys out. They're generally in there with connectors, so it's not like you've got to do, at least I don't believe we're going to end up doing any cutting and splicing. That always makes me nervous to cut original wire looms. But we have to pull, now we're going to take it that way. So here's the bits we have to take. Now, let's remember, let's make a note, ladies and gentlemen. Let's try and be intelligent here. We have a black connector that is for the left-hand turn signal, and a white connector, in fact, a white connector that is for the license plate light, and a black connector that is for both sides, right and left turn signals. Let's see if this says anything like leak test okay, Sinestra or Destra or anything like that. Nah, they don't say anything like that, so you're kind of on your own. You don't want to mess that up. So I'm going to go off camera again. Sorry, we're doing a little bit on and off camera, but I'm going to label these two wires as, let's make it right, left hand Sinestra and right hand Destra. And we don't. So funnily enough, I couldn't figure out a way to I don't have any kind of a wraparound label that I can mark. So I'm going to use some tie wraps to mark them. And I always consider the motorcycle from me sitting on the saddle looking forward. That means if we rotate this into normal operating position here, and I freak out the camera there, this side over here is right. So I'm going to mark this one with a white tie wrap. And we'll just put it like that so it won't fall off. I don't necessarily need to mark the left now that I know that, but there's two little tabs holding these things on there, and you just kind of lift them up. Yeah, you just kind of lift them up and pull them apart. Left is black. Unless you think that my memory is that good, I actually marked it down on a piece of paper. Should I be ashamed? Yeah, I think I should actually. That's not necessarily the greatest thing to admit. So, got to lift this little tab. Black is left. Now, okay, here comes the main, or the piece that connects to the license plate light, and this is a push down connector. There's a little, don't know if you can see it in the camera, but a little push down connector there. So got to get a little push down screwdriver. Let's see if this is the right size to push that little baby in. Got that guy. There, the main wiring loom runs down through these little holding clamps here, and you have to pull them out of the way to get at it. And we're taking those out of the way to do just that. Okay, we got it. Okay, so we've fished the wire loom out this way through, and we're going to set it over here through the original tail. And all right, got to disassemble, continue disassemble of the original tail. That's going to involve removing these two turn signal lights here. That looks like a 10 millimeter. Removing, let's start that again. Removing the right and left hand turn signals, stock turn signals, which I'm going to reuse, is a 10 millimeter open or socket end, closed end, and guess what? A 4 millimeter Allen. The single most used, I think they must have a shrine dedicated to 4 millimeter Allen wrenches somewhere there. We take out the nut on that side. Again, it's another nylock nut. And let's see if I can, yeah, I can get these bits out here. Bit of a tight fit. There the little guy is. And I will promptly drop the screw. So continuing on to the disassembly of the original tailpiece, the license plate bracket in the USA is held on by 3 nuts and bolts. The nuts are 9, no they're not, they are 8 millimeter. Nuts are 8 millimeter, and the hexes on the other side are a 3.5. Okay, there's the original tailpiece, completely disassembled. So here's the basic part of the EvoTech unit. It's a very nice piece of machined aluminum, and the original wire harness will go something like this through that channel, and then this bit fits over the top of it, and you've got some ability to push it in and out there a bit anyway. I'm not too sure how much needs to be left out to get it on this side, but I think that's the major assembly piece around which everything else hangs. And this is the replacement plate that goes up underneath the motorcycle through which you pass. This is where you pass the wire connectors and those 3 main connector bolts that came out. So I'm just working out the sequence here of how it goes, and I believe we install this first, and then we come along, feed this through, and these get threaded into here, into these bosses here. So that's how we're going to proceed with it. So I believe the first part will be putting this on under the motorcycle. I don't think I need to, well, maybe I should show you at least the part putting these bolts on, because that is a royal pain. So be back to you in a minute. Okay, we're back here. Been off for a while. Not the easiest thing you're ever going to do. These little bolts and nuts down in the depths here are pretty difficult to reach, and you've got to capture it and slide it in kind of blind. Good thing they're lock nuts. They shouldn't back off. They do supply you with new fasteners because the lengths are different. That took me a little bit to get used to the idea of that, because I couldn't get them to engage coming from the bottom side. So I spent way more on this part of the project than I should have. But did discover they give you some new screws and things to put in. And instead of being Torx, they are all 4 millimeter Allen. So once you figure that out, it goes in pretty well. Now our next step is going to be to put the tail tidy in, and I think you assemble it one side at a time. So it's going to go in something like this. It attaches in the bottom. There's some screws at the bottom, and it goes in. Once we do that, we're going to thread the wire loom down under there. So I'm going to try to give you a look at that while I put this in, and this is a bit of a guess on my part. So be back to you. Anyway, not the easiest thing you'll ever do, either removing or putting those screws back in, because they're very tiny, small, and hard to see. One hand is blind and you can see the top hand. Okay, back in a minute. So the first thing we do is thread the wire loom back up into the back of the machine here, and we let one part of it dangle because I'm not too sure. We reuse the original wire loom, and I'm not too sure which goes where in the great scheme of things. Not too sure about all that, but anyhow, we rethread in the original wire loom, and actually no, I'm not going to connect it up just yet because I have to put that one side in there. And I'll give you a view of that from the underside of the bike here. Hello there, a new view, new you. We are now back at the back of the machine. Here's the wire harness that I've fed through on the new system, and here's how the new tail tidy will fit. It's a nice little bit of construction. As I say, machined aluminum. There's one bolt that holds it on, and I've got to say it makes me a trifle nervous because, as my Oklahoma ancestors would have said, there ain't much there. But that's how it goes, and I'm going to put one side on. I'm going to attach this side. It goes into some prepared and pre-drilled bosses right there. And I'm going to attach this side. I am going to use some Loctite on this to hold it in place. And then we're going to attempt the final assembly. Now we have to thread we have to thread the wires through, and then get the rear view turn signals mounted. Oh, actually, I think we mount the rear view turn signals first. So I think I'm going to do that first. All right, stand by. I'll show you that. Okay, this is the right side tail tidy bit. Here is a tail light. Remember, white is right. Here we have our connecting screw, which I will drop, little spacer, and the arm itself. So first we put the spacer in place. Then we're going to take off my little reminder bit here. I will use a little blue Loctite on the bolt that holds it in place, and we'll seal that back up like that. The spacer has a little raised lip on one side that fits in, shows you which way it's supposed to go. We'll thread, get it aligned, get it all aligned. Oopsie. Yes, we will get it all aligned like that. We will then take the bolt, which is, guess what? 4 millimeter. And let's remember that it's got to be facing back that way. And it's a little bit like herding cats here to get this bolt started. But we're going to do that. Yep, got it started. We'll cinch it down around 97.5%. How's that? Yeah, that's about 97.5%. And voila, we are there. Now I'm going to use this bolt hole here to, pardon me, don't get a headache. Switch it back around. I'm going to use that bolt hole there to get this installed like that. And I think we will be beginning to get close to final assembly. Okay, I'm going to do that off camera because is that ever boring? Besides, you're going to see me fumbling with two hands, trying to keep it all straight as we go forward. Ladies and gentlemen, where is my friend now? I should have called Mr. Dale Sheets over. He's such a nice guy, and he would have helped me out with this. An extra set of hands would have been so nice, Dale. All right, back in a minute. Okay, got the right half of that installed there. I'm going to do a little hookup and check these turn signals to see if I have them on the right side there. Like I say, it's about 97.5% done. But you can see the license plate's going to be around about in here when we're done. So I'm going to do a little electronic hookup and see if I've got these turn signals wired, right side, left side, all that stuff worked out. So be right back again. Okay, so our wiring is connected. I'm going to turn on the left turn signal here. See it? Nice bright LEDs. And I use the just for test purposes, I use the stock license plate light. My next challenge here, and I'm not too sure how this will show up on camera, is that I somehow have to get all this wire loom installed and then run back through the little canal that channels those back and get this back piece fitted on. Not a lot of room to work with, as a matter of fact, but it's working. I did the, pretty proud of myself that I did the turn signals right. So back to you, it's in progress. So essentially we're done here. It's on the back, and I'll give you a better view of it for a moment. I still have to put the license plate bracket on, and I've got to renegotiate all these connectors back here. I did have a bit of an issue with, this goes over those little those little flanges there. Did have a bit of an issue with getting clearance for the wires, as I mentioned, and I loosened a couple of them up, this goes right back in down like that, getting them all to stuff back under the seat. And I'm still going to have a bit of an issue with that because, ladies and gentlemen, there ain't much room back here. The guys who engineered this did a great job. I'm going to put some electrical tape around these two connectors here because they disconnected. They fought me a bit. But we're going to try and stuff all this back in, put the genie back in the bottle, as it were. Remember, again, you can't go too wrong here because they're either different colors or physically incapable of mating incorrectly. So it's not too bad a deal. You get a nice satisfying click there. So I'm going to put some electrical tape around this. I still have to put the license plate bracket on the back, and then I'm losing light. Then I'm going to take a couple of pictures of it to share with y'all. But you see, I've still got this many wires right here that I've got to gently push back down underneath that seat cowl to get to work. And my little microphones went out, so I'm using the built-in mic on the camera here. So back to you in a minute. My job now is to gently push that in there. Like I say, get the genie back in the bottle, back into flat. So in the end, it all goes back in there. You just have to be careful. And I did put some electrical tape over that little junction between the EvoTech rear license plate and the stock wiring loom. Not a lot of room back here. I think I've said that before, so I'm going to stop saying it, but not a lot of room. But it's installed, check the lights, and everything's working. So I'm just going to put that plate back over the top here, put the seat on, roll it forward, put that license plate on, and take a couple of last photos for you. It's taken a few hours, guys. Most of it just looking, guys and gals, most of it just kind of looking at making sure I don't make a completely wrong move before I put the next item in. All right, back. Oops, we're recording. Okay, we're in the garage. It's an early winter's afternoon, evening here at Wistful Vistas in the Man Cage. And ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the EvoTech Tail Tidy. Tell me what you think about it. It was a little bit of a journey to get this guy put on there. A little bit. You've got to do some fitment and a little bashing around there. I'm not sure how well that all came out on video, but there it is. It's on. The tail is now tidy, and it works. Let's just turn it on real quick. It works. The license plate light comes on, which will please our California police so well. The turn signals make the turn. And the reason I decided to stay with the stock ones, by the way, instead of the little tiny ones, is, I think it's safer this way. I like to see them on that side of the rider. If the rider's in the central position there and the right turn signal's on that side of the rider, I think that makes it a little easier for our typical California drivers to see and understand that in fact you are going to turn right or left or whatever the case may be. But there it is, time to go inside and think about our next little project. But it's on. Talk to y'all later. You guys out there? Can you see me now? Let me put it away. I look better from a distance. Ride safe. Oh wait, let's level it up. Ride safe.